big game, this, between two teams competing for Europe. Forest have the edge in terms of the table. Newcastle have played them twice already this season and come out on top on each occasion, and they need to improve their Premier League form. 3 defeats out of the last 4 in the league. If they can win today, it will be massive. And we're underway on BBC Radio Newcastle, NUFC TV and the BBC Sounds app. Newcastle have kicked off and they have the ball on halfway, far side. Anthony Gordon in front of the East stand, drifts into the centre and rolls it into the path of Alexander Isak. On the overlap here, Joe Willock on the goal line, plays it back to Gordon. Hall on the corner of the area. Newcastle starting with an attack. Miley, heavy touch, headed away by Forest, helped forwards by Newcastle into the corner. Aina clips it up the line, and that's gone out for a United ball near to halfway. Bruno offers himself short. Gordon gets it in, a lot of space from Hall's throw, and clips it over to the near side to Livramento. Murphy up the line, takes it. Livramento carries on his run. Miley tried to turn, there was 2 on him, got dispossessed. Bruno intercepts the clearance, and now it's Jacob Murphy, 35 yards out to Lewis Miley. Plays the way he's facing, back to Fabian Schär. Good noise from the Newcastle supporters as Anderson closes down Miley, and Schär gives it back to Pope outside the penalty area to the feet of Dan Burn, and then Hall drops in. Gordon up the line, comes to get it. He's got 5 yards on Aina, plays it infield to Isak, first time on the outside to Hall. Willock in the middle, Lewis Hall, challenge comes in, and it's corner for Newcastle. Some fans appealed for a free kick, Hall did it, and referee Jared Gillett points to the corner. Anthony Gordon,
good play, wasn't it? Good play. Hall just got on his bike. Gordon came inside, played it into the feet of Isak, who played one round the corner.
Fabian Schär round the back post. Lewis Miley there as well. It's on the left. Gordon with his right foot drops it into the 6-yard box, headed across goal. Isak back into the centre, and then Williams with a clearance for Forest. Brought down by Gibbs-White. Good play, looking for Hudson-Odoi, but there's cover at the back. Hall and Livramento are there, and Hall takes control, and Bruno here in midfield lays it off, giving it back to Hall. 0-0 in the 3rd minute. Schär back to Burn. Willock comes short. Burn goes back to Schär, the furthest outfield player back in a black and white shirt. Livramento on the near side into Miley, closed down by Anderson. Back to Livramento and Schär. Isak's pulled out wide right. Murphy through the centre. Plenty of movement across the forward line from Newcastle. Gordon's dropped in, Willock's gone wide left. It's nice and fluid. Ball still with Newcastle in their own half. Burns attempted pass up the pitch, takes a big deflection. Joe Willock brings it down, goes on the outside, far side of the pitch. Strong run from Willock. This is more like it. Then the cross, which Sells gathered and spilled, and it's gone behind for a corner.
Poor goalkeeping. Willock's done well. It's what he does so well, when he picks it up and just runs. He's dug a cross out. Sells should deal with it, but he just pushes it behind for another corner kick.
Anthony Gordon to take. He's come across to the near side for this one. Livramento, Hall and Murphy outside the penalty area. Everybody else in there, including all of Forest's players. Gordon plays it to Hall, right corner of the box, then gets it back, then got the cross all wrong.
Oh dear.
Goal kick.
It's just lazy, that. Worked it well, he had plenty of time as well, Gordon. Just gets his body position all wrong, doesn't he? Just sticks it straight out of play.
Matt Sells being encouraged to get on with it. Maybe they're trying to get in his head after his difficult run in the team at the start of the championship season. Livramento tries to win the ball in the air, misses it, and Hudson-Odoi away for the visitors, their first attack. on the near side. 3 black and white shirts there. It's played back to Nico Williams. Now inside to Elliot Anderson. Gives it to Murillo, gets it back again. And Milenkovic, Serbia international, on halfway. Murillo with it once more in the middle of Newcastle's half. Chips it forwards to Gibbs-White, then the layoff intercepted by Miley. Bruno now to Murphy. Murphy wins a throw off Williams, did well under pressure. Nowhere to go, Newcastle's ball. 5.5 minutes on BBC Radio Newcastle and the BBC Sounds app. Livramento throws it into space for Murphy. Hudson-Odoi behind him. He's won the ball just outside the area now. Hudson-Odoi, low shot, bottom corner. Newcastle lost it from the throw. Hudson-Odoi took it on, and Nick Pope is beaten inside 6 minutes of his return to the team. A terrible start. Newcastle United 0, Nottingham Forest 1.
That's poor. I mean, Murphy, touch has got to be better. Just loses it. Just has his pocket pinched in such a bad area. Hudson-Odoi straight onto it. It's a decent enough hit, but should the keeper do better?
Hudson-Odoi back in the team for Forest today. He's had an injury recently. Brought in one of 2 changes by the manager, Nuno Espirito Santo. And the team 3rd in the Premier League.
Tell you what, Pope's given them a lot of the goal to hit, you know. It's almost standing left side of the goal, Pope.
Well, Forest in 3rd position, just keep on going. And they've delivered an early blow here. They took the lead in the league fixture in November at the City ground, and they're in front against Newcastle again, and they have to come back. Here's Isak, the right wing, wants a free kick for a challenge by Williams. Referee says no. Then Chris Wood has collided with Dan Burn, who is down in the centre circle, and this time the whistle has gone.
Yeah, it's just winded, isn't he? Just a coming together between 2 big boys. Woods just stood his ground. A great deal in that.
Free kick for Newcastle. Bruno chips it forwards. Burn is up there. Milenkovic has got hold of him. He wins a couple of headers. Miley now for Gordon into the penalty area. Murillo nods away. Newcastle a goal down. Not what they needed in an afternoon where they have to win to try and catch up with teams like Nottingham Forest. Jared Gillett's given them a free kick wide on the left, 25 yards out, after the Forest header clear from the last free kick. Hall and Gordon next to the ball. A quick response would be ideal. 8 minutes played. Miley holding a position at the back. Dan Burn on the edge of the penalty area in the centre. Gibbs-White is the closest player to him. Big difference in height there. Gordon runs over the ball. Hall sends it in. It's a good one.
Oh, it's great defending.
Shea couldn't get there, neither could Bruno. Miley keeps it alive, looking for Murphy, who cuts inside, then threads a ball through into the box, but Sells picks it up.
Tell you what, it was Chris Wood who got the header at the back post. Talk about him scoring 18 goals. That's a big touch he got on that ball. Dan Burns coming flying in over the back of him.
Murillo pings it straight to Burn, on to Bruno. Fouled by Nicolas Dominguez. And Newcastle say that the Forest midfielder kicked the ball away.
But they can't take it from there. It wasn't in the right position. Ball was still moving.
Delaying the restart is the alleged offence, but free kick, Newcastle. So they go forwards again, trailing by a goal to 0. Left side of central midfield, Bruno here drives it into the box looking for Shea, heads it up, Lewis Miley, oh, deflected wide. Sells was going the other way. Sells was diving to his right, and the shot would have been on target, but the deflection took it towards the other post, and it'll be a corner on the near side. And there's a problem in the box. The referee has blown his whistle.
Good hit as well.
Potential Forest injury.
Real good hit. Came off Murillo.
It's Milenkovic who's just being checked on. He's okay. No need for the medical team. Newcastle's corner. Lewis Hall to deliver this one. Left-footed to the back post. Chris Wood heads away.
Again.
Gordon gets there before Anderson, and Murphy has played it behind Livramento, so he'll have to use the goalkeeper. Forest have pushed up and apply the pressure. Pope drives it to the right wing, where Dan Burn brings it down on his chest and wins a throw. Good outlet for them in that position. Burn having stayed up. Murphy with a quick throw back to Livramento. Newcastle 0, Forest 1. Bruno holding off Gibbs-White, playing it back to Cher. Fabian Scher's ball looking for Joe Willock, headed away, then on by Gibbs-White towards Elanga. Hall gets in between man and ball, does well. Newcastle have it back, and this is Bruno next to the centre circle. There's plenty of urgency about the play, plenty of energy. Need to find an equaliser. Miley clips it out to Livramento. Good ball, he had space on the right, inside to Willock in the box. Taken away from Willock, and then Hudson-Odoi, the goal scorer, with a clearance. Wood heads on, and Fabian Scher had hold of him. There was no one offering themselves as a runner. Newcastle play it forwards, and Murphy loses it to Anderson, who drags it back and gives it to Williams, and then Murillo away first time, lifted up, high ball onto the head of Fabian Scher. His header into midfield is helped back to the goalkeeper by Dominguez, and Sells slams it forwards. Burn wins the header. Now Bruno can get turned. He's got space. Willock out to the left. Gordon's come infield. Finds Miley. Options here. Murphy. Murphy's cross. Nobody could get a touch. It was fired in by Murphy first time. Isak was closest. Might have just had too much force behind it. Goal kick.
Yeah, good ball. Just too much pace on it, wasn't it? Played into a great area. Just flashed it across goal.
Matt Sells is belatedly given a ball to restart the match with. He's going to leave the goal kick for Murillo. Referee signalling with his arm to Nottingham Forest to get on with it. And Murillo out to the far touchline to Aina. Step over there from Elanga. Didn't reach Gibbs-White. Dan Burns got it. Good play. Taking Newcastle up the pitch. Now Joe Willock can continue with that. Willock just outside the area. Miley plays in Murphy in the penalty area. Low cross from Murphy, blocked by Murillo. Miley with a header. Chance for Forest to clear. They haven't. Miley with another header. Then Milenkovic heads up. Miley wins another header. And Hall now for Gordon. It's a bit tight. Tackle comes in from Elanga. Gordon still got it, goes on the outside, tries to beat his man, and the referee says that's a foul by Gordon, to the astonishment of the Newcastle forward. Nottingham Forest free kick in the penalty area.
I don't see that.
It was Ola Aina who...
He's dangled a leg, but he's caught him, but he goes down like... Lettered a lot.
14 on the clock, and Newcastle a goal down, John Anderson.
Yeah, it is a physical game, this, isn't it? It is a compact game.
Still.
Yeah, just wondered.
Livramento with a header away, and then Murphy back to Livramento. It's Nottingham Forest's only move in the final third. Murphy's given it away again, then Forest lose it. Gordon slips as Bruno looked to play him in. He's instead got Livramento on the ball here, just past halfway, up to Murphy. Helped on, but Isak had held his run. Now he chases as Murillo rolls it into the feet of Sells. And the goalkeeper's ball might go out of play. It does. Nice touch from Eddie Howe to control the ball and give it to Murphy. You were looking at the goalkeeper's positioning for the Hudson-Odoi goal after.
Yeah, just had he gave him too much of the goal to hit. It's one you'd like to see again.
Fabian Schär takes it forwards, then has to turn under pressure from Chris Wood. Back to Dan Burn. Hall is free to his left. Miley comes to get it in the middle of the park. Back to Burn. Murphy's drifted into a central position. Gordon now on halfway, brings it in across the pitch, drops his shoulder, then finds a nice ball through a gap for Bruno, but a heavy touch from Bruno, and Anderson wins it. And Forest look to get Hudson-Odoi in, but Schär is across, reads it well, keeps it in. Now it's Miley, close to halfway, comes more into the centre, and it's with Bruno. Willock square, they push it over to Hall, and now for the run of Isak. Flag stays down. Isak in the penalty area, tries to deliver a cross, headed away as far as Bruno, 25 yards out. Murphy on the left wing here, gets into the penalty area, then gives it to Gordon. They're back outside the box, Newcastle, but still on the attack, 1-0 down. Through ball from Murphy towards Gordon, and that didn't come off. Goal kick.
He's just got to try and thread one or two passes, Murphy. Just simple passes. Just keeps giving it away.
Well, a supportive response from the crowd. Players need it. It's not that they've been particularly bad in attacking areas. They've got into some decent positions. Sells hasn't had a shot to save, but they've played with a decent amount of energy and intent. But one mistake from a throw-in field, Livramento to Murphy. He tried to return it, Hudson-Odoi intercepted and then took on the shot at the edge of the area and hit the bottom corner. So they're trailing by a goal to nil, 17 minutes. They have a throw in their half on the far side of the pitch. Hall drops it at the feet of Gordon, back to Burn, Schär inside. And he receives it before rolling it back to big Dan Burn. Schär again. Trippier, Tonali, Osula sent up the touchline to warm up. No one closing down. Burn is able to find Hall with the pass. Then back to Burn, drops his shoulder, comes into midfield, carried it well, then continues his run. Willock plays it back to Hall, and he goes back to Nick Pope from halfway. Burn on it again. Slowly brought towards the halfway line. And then out to the touchline to Hall, then back to Burn. Miley comes into space in the centre circle, receives it, Wood at his back, Miley to Hall, then back to Burn. Schär's free, that's where it goes. Murphy giving them width on this near side, drops in, gets it from Schär. And he tries to bend one in behind for Livramento. What a ball from Murphy! Livramento's cross! Oh, and Gordon arriving, couldn't connect properly. It's a brilliant ball from Murphy to spot the run of Livramento. They're staying on the attack. Hall's done really well on the far side. Still Lewis Hall. He crosses and it's blocked at the near side, and then Forest clear towards halfway. Great ball from Murphy. Livramento picked out the cross to the back post, and Gordon arriving just couldn't get the connection he needed. Murphy to Livramento again, gets the return ball. Now Murphy cuts inside, edge of the area. Still going, Jacob Murphy. Pass is intercepted, but he's got it back and found Willock. And on the left wing, now with Gordon. 20 minutes played, 1-0 down. Gordon taking on his man, Ola Aina. Delivers a flat cross. Milenkovic has sliced it out for a throw about 10 yards from the corner flag. Quickly taken by Gordon, gets it back from Hall, then returns it. Gordon again to Willock. Has to come infield, Willock. Miley got Livramento square, 30 yards out now, and on the right wing with Murphy. looking for the equaliser. Murphy inside to Bruno, and Miley tackled at the edge of the area. Anderson runs it away into midfield. Up to Elanga, Hall slides in, does well to divert the ball back to Livramento. Not seen much of Elanga so far, the 2 opportunities he's had, Lewis Hall's been there. What about the cross and the chance for Gordon, Nando?
Yeah, good ball down the line. This time he's just played it into space, Murphy. He's always stretching though, isn't he?
Isak dispossessed near halfway by Murillo. Gibbs-White, Isak gets back to win the ball, and Newcastle get it to the goalkeeper. He made amends there, and now he's back up the pitch as Joe Willock on the left wing helps it forwards to Gordon, and Newcastle win a throw.
Yeah, good ball played in. He's always on the stretch though, Anthony Gordon. Can't really get good contact on it.
What about the response to going behind?
Yeah, they've been all right. You know, they started well enough. It's just a mistake.
Gordon caught late by Aina. Ball was lifted up towards the edge of the area. Referee had a good think about it. He's blown for a free kick, and it's between 5 and 10 yards back from the corner of the box on the left. Gordon helped up to his feet. Do you think it's a correct decision?
Yeah, it's a free kick. Just leaves his leg there, doesn't he? Just dangles it. Give the referee a decision to make. He's caught him on the knee.
Well, they've had a few.
No intent, but it's a free kick.
There've been a few of these free kicks in the attacking third. They've had a few corner kicks as well, Newcastle, but not yet given Matt Sells any real work to do, though he did spill a cross behind for a corner in the opening minutes. Gordon runs over this ball and Lewis Hall sends it in. Here's Bruno, downward header. Oh, just too high for Byrne as it came back up, and Willer keeps it in on the far side. Hall with another cross. Miley takes a touch, then hits it. Yes! Lewis Miley, first Premier League start of the season, and a huge goal from the 18-year-old to get Newcastle on level terms, and he took it so well. Willett kept it alive after the initial ball in, and Hall's cross found Miley. Great first touch to kill it, then a low left-footed shot across Sells into the bottom right corner. His second of the season. They definitely needed that. Lewis Miley the scorer. Newcastle United 1, Nottingham Forest 1.
Oh, it's a good finish. It's a real good finish. I mean, you thought the opportunity had gone with the header, but they recycled and kept it alive. Forest don't deal with it. Great first touch, and he's just drilled it across Sells into the bottom left-hand corner. It was needed.
Replacing Sandro Tonali in the team today, Lewis Miley has scored at St James's Park, and after 23 minutes we are level with the scores at 1-1, and that has definitely improved the mood. Crowd had been good since Forest took the lead, but there'll be even more belief about Newcastle now. Here's Gibbs-White, tackled by Cher. Elliot Anderson looking to get it in behind Livramento. Good header with Hudson-Odoi behind him. Murphy 1-2 with Miley, and then Anderson slides in to stop Newcastle's break up the line. It's going to be a throw. Anderson and Miley, if things had been different, could have been teammates together here for years. They're on opposite sides today. Not seen a lot of Anderson. He's put himself about, wins a header there on the near touchline. Miley with the equalising goal. Here's Hudson-Odoi, left corner of the box. Forest have had one shot and scored. They've not really attacked. Hudson-Odoi with another, and Nick Pope just bending down, makes a comfortable save, and a quick play out to Gordon on the left. Here's Hall, held up by Elanga, back to Gordon. Now forwards for Isak to chase after, and he gets there before Milenkovic, and back heels it to Hall into the penalty area. Lewis Hall square, the keeper's beaten, Murphy's there! Jacob Murphy with the touch. Newcastle United from a goal down, lead 2-1. Jacob Murphy gets the congratulations, as does Isak, for brilliant play in the build-up, and Lewis Hall likewise drove on into the box. It was dinked over Matt Sells, at full stretch couldn't get there, and Jacob Murphy just nudged it in on the line, at fault for the Forest goal, but now gets Newcastle United into the lead. 2 goals in quick succession, Newcastle United 2, Nottingham Forest 1.
What a touch by Isak, unbelievable. Unbelievable, little back heel, little flick back heel. Takes the big centre back out of it. Murphy can't miss.
He's got in off his thigh, just made sure he got his hand out of the way. Hall tried to play it to Willock, it took a massive deflection. That's why Sells couldn't get it. And Murphy just falling onto the ball. Just had to make sure. What a turnaround. Newcastle 2, Nottingham Forest 1. 26 minutes played. Murphy 6th of the season, so he's now 3rd behind Gordon on 9 and Isak on 19 in all competitions. They've taken a throw, Newcastle, on the right, and ended up not quite getting it right, and it'll be a Nottingham Forest ball. 30 yards out, Williams. It's it back from Nicolas Dominguez, the Argentinian. Hudson-Odoi through the legs of Murphy, back to Williams, now Anderson. Playing as one of 2 central midfielders. Cross halfway, here's Aina, that's an overhit pass towards Elanga. And Hall with a quick throw to Gordon. Newcastle, they're in a hurry, on towards Willock. And then played back to Sells. And his clearance has gone out to the right full-back position. And Gordon lets it go for a throw. 30 yards out, and Newcastle are saying Dominguez threw the ball away, delayed the restart again. Well, Eddie Howe wanted intensity and vibrancy. He's got it, hasn't he?
To a degree, yeah. To a degree.
One 0 down and now 2-1 up. Isak gets the ball and then played in again, in the corner on the left. Taking on his man. Good feet once more, back to Hall. His cross blocked by Aina. Newcastle adamant it's handball. And they look to the referee, it's gone for a throw, and they're saying that should be penalty. Jared Gillett says wait, and Peter Banks, the VAR, will have a look.
Oh, yeah.
His arm's well out.
Yeah.
His arm's well out.
Does it be given?
It's well out away from his body. Is he inside the box? Yeah.
Well inside the box.
Green, and says penalty.
Oh dear, how long does it take?
What we will do is we will go back on the recording and count how long it took for
honestly, that is
the decision
it's
to be
totally
reached.
ridiculous the length of time that took.
And now the big screen shows a replay. Some of the Forest fans don't like it at level 7, as you might expect. But Newcastle United with a penalty to take. Anthony Gordon hands the ball to Alexander Isak. Remember when Kieran Trippier held on to it late at the City Ground 2 seasons ago, and Forest thought Trippier was going to take it. He got all the abuse, handed it to Isak, who stroked it into the net for a late winner.
For the life of me, I don't know what that does.
Matt Sells is off the pitch, having a drink from a water bottle. Isak with a sumptuous back heel, sublime part in the second Newcastle goal, has a chance to score himself now. after the referee, with help from VAR, finally reached the decision of penalty for Aina's handball from Hall's cross.
Scandalous the length of time it took.
Alexander Isak, Gallagher end of St James's Park against Matt Sells. Here comes Isak. It's in! Oh, it's in just!
Oh, how lucky is he?
Well, it's not convincing, but it's into the back of the net. He chipped it up the middle, and Sells started to move and stuck up his arm, cut a hand on it, but couldn't get a strong enough hand. And Alexander Isak has ended a run of 4 games without scoring and has his 20th of the season, 18 in the Premier League. Newcastle were 1-0 down after 6 minutes, but now in the 33rd minute they lead Nottingham Forest by 3 goals to 1.
Oh. Dear, oh dear. He just... his heart must have been in his mouth.
Great for Isak to put his name on the score sheet. He's had a few big goals disallowed this season. That one against Arsenal was a special strike in the second leg, fractionally offside. And from the penalty spot, you just have to score, and he did. And Sells was, well, perhaps unfortunate, but he'll be really frustrated when he sees it back. 3-1 though, John Anderson, what a position to be in, having conceded a really poor goal.
Yeah, conceded a really poor goal to give away.
Anderson into the box, caught by Pope. The Newcastle attack now with Willock strong, running away from his man on the far side, into Isak in the area. Isak is there! This is ridiculous. 4 first half goals and Newcastle United might well be out of sight. This has been some turnaround from trailing and fearing the worst. They are back. They are back all right. Isak with his second. 2 goals in a couple of minutes. And it's Newcastle United 4, Nottingham Forest 1.
Well, Forest have just capitulated. I mean, down that left-hand side. Anana's all over the place, just leaving gaps everywhere, and they've just been exploited. They've just been ran ragged at the minute, Forest. Another big deflection, takes it over Sells, who goes early, and it takes a deflection and just loops straight over the top of him.
Strong run from Willock as well, wasn't it, up the left? I think that's Chris Wood who was tracking him. Willock's always going to have the athleticism to find the space and get away. Isak, 20 Premier League goals for him. 19 Premier League goals for him. 21 in total, I beg your pardon. He's now ahead of Chris Wood in the Premier League goal scoring charts. 4-1. I fancied them to come back given the way they were playing, but this is a great first half. And still the best part of 10 minutes until the interval, as Forest tried to attack. Gordon, strong challenge on Anderson, and now they look for Isak out to the left. In fact, it was Hall who made the challenge. Gordon with the forward ball, and Lewis Hall's been caught and is in pain, and the referee is stopping the game for Newcastle's benefit to check on Lewis Hall, who's been rolling around in the penalty area and might require treatment. Well, it's a devastating comeback, isn't it, to score 4 times?
Yeah, it's been a great response. I mean, they were well on top before they gave a poor goal away, but the response since then has been excellent. Getting plenty of joy down Forest's right-hand side. That's where all the danger's coming from. Isak's drifting out into that space between centre-back and full-back. And they just can't handle him at the moment. His movement's been... it's been unbelievable. Aina, the right back, he just doesn't know where he is. Forest players are having a word with him now, but the poor boy hasn't got a clue where he is at this moment in time.
I'm thinking back to the crazy match against Spurs 2 seasons ago, 5-0 after, what was it, 21 minutes? They've scored 4 goals in 11 minutes here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if they can get another one, they'll actually...
As decent as we have, and look, we've been decent, Forest have just capitulated. They've been all over the place, Forest. You know, for somebody who's in the league position that they are, to defend the way that they've defended is...
Lewis Hall's back on his feet, he's had treatment. Newcastle will be down to 10 players temporarily, having conceded 4 last week. They've scored 4. We're in the 38th minute on BBC Radio Newcastle and the BBC Sounds app. And thank you to our team in the studio who have just told us that the VAR check took 2 minutes and 41 seconds. 2:41.
For a handball that was playing for everybody to see. Scandalous.
Hudson-Odoi, who got things going this afternoon, has just slipped. Newcastle have a throw on the near side. Lewis Hall yet to come back on. Miley, Murphy and 2 for Isak. Does the goal difference no harm? And if they win today, 4-1 up, looks good. They'll go back up to 5th above Bournemouth and Chelsea and Villa, who, with their late winner yesterday, just edged ahead of Newcastle in the table. Willock, good to see him playing a big part in things today, and Miley likewise. Here is Lewis Miley, strong play, and now Willock trying to break into the penalty box. Gordon looking for it at the edge of the area, and a rushed clearance from Murillo on the 18-yard line, sticking the ball out into the east stand for a Newcastle throw. Hall to take it. Good to see that he's okay. It's Eddie Howe and Jason Tindall have a chat next to the Newcastle bench. Hall with a cross, corner kick. Seven away wins for Forest, including at Man United and Liverpool. But they recently lost 5-0 at Bournemouth, which, when you look at the way Bournemouth play and what they do, maybe is less of a surprise. They came back and then thrashed Brighton, but they could be on the end of another hiding today. Newcastle looking for more goals. Gordon in swinging corner. Oh, Isak's free at the back post, but Sells pushed it away before it reached Newcastle centre forward. Murphy into a block challenge, and it's beaten Elliot Anderson on the near side, and it'll be a throw close to the Newcastle bench. Livramento back to Share. So they're in their own half, but they have the ball. Share with one of his diagonal switches. It's intercepted by Elanga. They don't want to start making mistakes or getting sloppy. Gordon, good challenge on Dominguez, and then Willock slows down Forrest, and Milenkovic slipped as the ball was played to him. And if Isak had held his position, he would have been away one-on-one, but he'd come in to try and get to the ball and was unlucky. In the end, Forrest put it out of play, and it's at the feet of Dan Burn and now Lewis Hall. 5 minutes to half-time. Newcastle 4, Nottingham Forest 1. A lot of Forest fans have gone inside to the concourse areas at
they've gone home.
this point.
Long way to Nottingham.
Share up to Livramento. Newcastle trying to get in again. They might be with Murphy. Isak makes his move into the middle. Murphy high cross, but that one, not one of his better ones. Now a lot of Newcastle fans try and beat the half-time cues. And Matt Sells is getting some stick from the Gallagher end. Played only 14 times for Newcastle. Dodgy keeper, they say. Picked the ball out of the net 4 times. He was unlucky with the penalty. Burn, big header. Aina forwards. Burn's there again. I tell you what, he's been first to everything, Burn. Here's Gordon, lay off to Miley. Murphy free to the right. Gets it. Livramento on the outside. Murphy, good strength to hold off Hudson-Odoi. Now Livramento plays it back to Murphy. Bruno wants it in midfield. They give it to Byrne instead, and he drops it off at Bruno's feet. Close to halfway, onto Miley. Trying to protect the ball, has to go back. Nothing silly from the 18-year-old. Pope. Now to Byrne, and Hall tight to the touchline. Up the line to Gordon. Takes it back. And plays it to the feet of Byrne, who can roll it to Gordon, unmarked. A lot of space. This is Bruno now, 43rd minute. Back to Byrne. Forest just hanging back. Not seen much at all of Chris Wood, have we yet, John Anderson?
No, Forest just haven't been able to get the ball. And when they've got it, they haven't been able to keep it.
Dan Burns probably had more touches than any other player so far. Walking the ball towards the centre circle. Livramento holding his line, wants the diagonal. Nico Williams cuts it out with a header. Hudson-Odoi. Slightly mis-hit pass back to the stocky defender Murillo. Linked to Real Madrid and Liverpool. Murillo loves to come out of defence and play with the ball, and he's done so there, but lost it to Newcastle. Murphy trying to find Gordon. Intercepted by Milenkovic, back to Sells, and Gordon put him under a fair bit of pressure. Sells completed the clearance. Livramento to Miley, back to Cher. And as Wood closes down the goalkeeper, Pope just rolls it short to Burton. He's got Wood at his shoulder, and it's over to this near side to Fabian Cher. Went for the diagonal. There's a deflection. Newcastle get it through Bruno, and now Hall. Here goes Lewis Hall, inside to Miley, and Bruno again. Forest win it back through Elanga, and then Miley wins it back for Newcastle. Isak on the left. Smart feet from Isak, and a chip pass towards Livramento. Hudson-Odoi's brought it down and then booted it into the Newcastle half. Burns cushioned header to Hall, back to Cher. And they've done well there again. 4-1 up, Newcastle having been 1-0 down early on. Murphy to Bruno, centre of the Forest half, onto Isak. Nice flick again. Then Murphy with a flick to Bruno, and it's coming out here to Joe Willock. Anthony Gordon in the penalty area. Gordon goes on the outside. Here's a chance for 5. It's saved. Gordon's got it back. Oh, another handball maybe. They run to the referee. Sells has got the ball in his hands and rolls it out. Jared Gillett says play on. They could have had a 5th before half-time, and they wanted another penalty. But play on is the decision.
Just as well it wasn't a penalty, we'd be here for another 10 minutes. 7 minutes. Where's 7 minutes?
Elanga running at Hall, beats him and fires in a low cross that Nick Pope has to get down low to beat behind at his near post. First time Elanga has run at Hall all afternoon.
Where's 7 minutes come from?
Well, probably 3 for the
VAR check.
Yeah, maybe a minute for Hall with the injury. Goal celebrations possibly, but yeah. We haven't seen again the latest handball shout. Forest have got a corner, but just to go through it again in detail, we can't. But Newcastle have to defend this, and an out-swinging corner towards Wood, headed back across the box, blocked on the way through to goal, and then another corner for Forest. And both teams appealing for something now. Isak is down in the box, holding his left leg. It's all happening there. Wood won the header back across. He might have been winded actually, Isak.
I don't think it's his leg he's holding. If you get me drift.
He's all right. Just winded there.
Oh yeah, he would be.
Out-swinging corner to the back post again. Lewis Hall's header up. Bruno trying to head it on and fouled by big Milenkovic. 6'5", yellow card for that challenge. And And we're into the second of the 7 minutes, minimum 7 minutes, here on BBC Radio Newcastle and the BBC Sounds app. If you have a smart speaker, you can ask it to play BBC Radio Newcastle, and that's another way to listen to us this afternoon. Remember, Total Sport will be on tomorrow. Our nightly football phone-in with all the latest news from Newcastle and Sunderland. A reaction to the weekend's 2 games, non-league football, including Gateshead's important win yesterday in the National League. And you can phone in to have yours say. Total Sport North East, BBC Radio Newcastle, every night from 6 and any time, anywhere in the world, through the BBC Sounds app. Ball back in play with Newcastle on the left. Dan Burn with another good run. And they've had to come back with it here to Cher and Livramento. Murphy, nice ball to Bruno, and then on towards Miley. Murillo is there. Back to the goalkeeper, Gordon, closing down Sells. Timed that one well. Livramento headed to Murphy, back to Cher, and all the way to Nick Pope, beaten in the 6th minute by Hudson-Odoi. Oh, and he's given the ball away there to Forrest Gibbs-White. They can't give them any encouragement. Gibbs-White with a shot from Hudson-Odoi's ball back inside, straight at Pope. But that could have been very different.
Yeah, it's just a poor ball by Pope. It's not a great strike from Gibbs-White either. Gets nothing on it, does he? Just straight at the keeper, just pats it down.
Newcastle with 3 changes today. Pope for Dubravka, one of them, Livramento for Trippier, and Miley for Tonali, who's on the bench. Here is Lewis Miley. Scored the equaliser. It's played well, done really well. Nice, good midfield play, tidy, sharp stuff on the touchline. Then Willock, who's had a strong first half, winning it in midfield, and Isak on the left touchline. Newcastle, 49th minute. Isak trying to take on Aina, who's recovered well. He's in the corner here, nowhere to go. Up the line, Willock at full stretch, couldn't intercept. And here's Elanga taking on Burn and looking for Wood with the ball into the box, straight into the hands of Pope.
Really poor.
Still got another 3 minutes of first half additional time to play. Newcastle 4-1 up. Isak on the chase and gets to the ball in the corner. Gordon in the middle. Isak, could he go himself? And looked for Gordon with a little pass inside the box. Forrest intercept and clear. And Elanga has lost it to Willock, who gets away from another challenge and keeps going, Joe Willock, and pulls it back. Alexander Isak, deflected and wide at the near side of goal. It's a corner as Isak looked for his first half hat-trick.
They don't want to tackle anybody, Forrest. They just don't want to do anything. It's just so easy coming down that left-hand side. Elanga doesn't want to get back. He doesn't want to put his foot in. Doesn't want to help his full-back out. They're getting torn apart down there, right?
Chance to make it 5 before the half-time whistle. Gordon preparing to take the corner. Hall on the edge of the box. Gordon sends it into the middle. Sells, gets gloves on it. And the referee's whistle rather predictably has gone because a player hit the floor.
Goalkeeper. It was the goalkeeper who fell on the keeper.
Okay, thought there's a player down, Miley there in front of the keeper with Wood.
Cher's just jumped in too many.
So Jared Gillett with a free kick for Forest. The decision. Livramento header away into midfield from the ball forwards. Miley's won it back, and Isak can get after this maybe, but Murillo, that was sharp play from the Brazilian to head away. Nico Williams has lost out to Anthony Gordon, and Gordon applauded by Eddie Howe and Jason Tindall, but it's a Nottingham Forest throw. Williams up the line. Hudson-Odoi heads on inside, but Wood had gone wide. Cher was the player who got the ball. Pope now to Burn, under pressure from Wood. Hall ran out of room as he tried to take on Elanga. We've got 30 seconds of the minimum 7 minutes to play. Forest on the attack. Hall, strong challenge. Elanga just tried to run through him, over him, and Hall made sure he stood firm, stood his ground. Elliot Anderson, right side of midfield. Aina up the line now to Elanga. It's about the referee now. Newcastle 4, Nottingham Forest 1. The 7 minutes are up. Anderson with it, 30 yards out. Jared Gillett blows for half-time. A superb turnaround from Newcastle United, trailing by a goal to nil after 6 minutes. But at half-time, lead Nottingham Forest by 4 goals to 1, and those 4 goals are about to begin here on BBC Radio Newcastle. We're also on the BBC Sounds app worldwide, so if you want the black and white perspective and you're on the move, you can listen to us on BBC Sounds, or let someone who's outside of the northeast know they can follow the game there. We're also on the Newcastle United website and app. Newcastle no changes, neither Forest, same 11s, and we are underway for the second half now. 4-1 Newcastle lead, and we'll go through the 11s in a moment. Newcastle shooting up the hill towards the Leazes end on the attack with Willock and Gordon on the near side. Ball run out of play by Nottingham Forest, and well, to the astonishment of Eddie Howe, Newcastle players and fans, the assistant on the near side somehow hasn't seen that the ball went out from Ole Aina, but it did, and then it went out properly off a Newcastle player, so it's a Nottingham Forest throw. Black and white stripes against the light blue and white away kit of the visitors. Pope back in goal in the Premier League for the first time in more than 2 months. Livramento, Share, Byrne, Hall, who's had a hand in all 4 goals that Newcastle have scored today, Lewis Hall. Miley, Bruno, Willock, and the front 3, Murphy, Isak, Gordon. Forest, Sells, Aina, Milenkovic, Murillo, Williams, Dominguez, Anderson, who's on the ball now, Elliot Anderson, up to Gibbs, White, Elanga, Hudson-Odoi and Wood up front. Hudson-Odoi running it, Hall. Ball at the edge of the area, intercepted by Bruno, brought away by Gordon, who was fouled by Gibbs White. Newcastle are awarded a free kick by Jared Gillett close to their penalty area. What do you want to see from Newcastle in the second half, John Anderson, regarding the way they go about it?
Just the same as what they did first half. Keep getting at Aina down this Forest right hand side. Got plenty of joy down there in the first half.
There's a ball from
oh dear.
Nick Pope into space. Hall left it, then Gordon left it, and
everybody
then went forward.
left it.
Everyone, including Nottingham Forest. Gordon eventually got there, and he's played a useful pass inside to Miley. Livramento 20 yards out, far side. Murphy out wide to Miley. Has to stretch to keep it in, but he's done so. Forced away from goal. Replaced Tanali in the team. He's on the bench today after not training this week. Murphy on the outside of Williams, crossing position for Murphy, header from Murillo behind at the near post. Newcastle in the 48th minute get their first corner of the second half.
There'll be more goals in this as well.
Hall will take the corner kick, and he help to create another goal. Alexander Isak looking for a second hat-trick this season. On the move, totally free at the back post. Here's the corner, headed off the post! Headed up, looping header. Fabian Schär, centre of the box, and it smacked the upper part of the post and gone behind off Aina for another corner. Sells totally beaten.
Yeah, Anderson was with him and just let him drift off him.
Well, there was very nearly another goal as the referee sorts out some stuff in the 6-yard box. Wood, Willock, Murillo, Aina, all there. Nope, not many Newcastle players in the 6-yard box. They are around the penalty spot. Dan Burn on his way to the back post, Gordon's corner. Forest headed across the penalty area, Anderson away. Isak and Burn try and keep it alive. Burn looking for Miley with a ball lifted up inside the penalty area. Murphy then with a block, and here's Willock just outside the box. Back to Burn, up to Gordon. Oh, great turn, he's given Dominguez the slip. Gordon on the outside of Aina. Cross is blocked. It's forced wide, Anthony Gordon, but has kept it in. Looking dangerous. Newcastle lead 4-1. Hungry for more. Gordon to Willock. Oh, what a layoff. Bruno in the area. Gets crowded out. And Gordon with a trip on Anderson, who was bringing it away. Well, that was some lovely football in the build-up there.
Great little touch, Willock. Build-up was good. Just tried to be too clever, didn't he, Guimaraes?
BBC Radio Newcastle and BBC Sounds. Forest up the line and out of play. Newcastle's bench: Dubravka, Trippier, Tonali, Wilson, Barnes, Target, Kraft, Osula, Longstaff. Once again, no Joe Linton and no Botman. And Forest on the bench: goalkeeper Wayne Hennessy, and Morato, Ibrahim Sangare, Taiwo Awonyi, Harry Toffolo, Alex Moreno, Jota Silva, Ryan Yates and Ramon Sosa. Newcastle up the line towards Murphy, Williams with a block, and then Miley with a challenge. Out on halfway, Nottingham Forest ball. Elliot Anderson brings it down. How do you rate Anderson's performance so far?
He's been quiet, hasn't he?
1-2 between Hudson-Odoi and Dominguez. The return ball was out of play, but the referee's brought it back. He says there was a foul on Hudson-Odoi. He was held back.
Lucky, very lucky.
Dominguez with his short sleeves and gloves plays it inside to Anderson. His red boots. Anderson's pass to Hudson-Odoi, skips inside, finds Elliot Anderson once again. 55 Newcastle appearances. And the one goal he scored was at Forest, and it was incorrectly, it was later agreed, ruled out. Ball up to the edge of the area, header by Dan Burn. Now Joe Willock, brought down by Anderson, who gets a yellow card for that challenge. This has been a lot better from Joe Willock, more like the Joe Willock of 2 seasons ago today. Moments in the game with his running has been really strong.
The thing is, the game's been opened up. Joe Willock's at his best when he's picking it up and running at people. Don't ask him to pass it, you know, let him get it, open his legs, get at people, run the length of the pitch, and he's had plenty of space to be able to do that today, and he's played well.
Miscontrol by Livramento from a ball played to him by Miley. Forest take the throw and then go back towards the halfway line. Anderson on it. Inside to Dominguez. And Murillo with his foot on the ball just in front of the halfway line. Newcastle 4, Nottingham Forest 1. Nico Williams plays it back. Nicholas Dominguez made a good run into the box untracked, but they didn't play it in. Anderson now from a deeper position might get the chance to deliver. Tries to roll it forwards. Newcastle make the block. Isak now to Willock, and Willock to Gordon, and they're trying to get Willock in again, and they're saying it's handball by Anderson on halfway.
Can't do anything about that.
It hit one part of his body and then went up onto his arm by the looks of things. Play continues. Hudson-Odoi to Williams. It was a shame because it looked like a promising break. They had numbers getting forwards. Forest to Aina on the edge of the area, on this near side, has to go back. 54th minute, Gibbs White takes it, turns across over to the far post. Williams header.
Oh, he's missed it.
At the back post, got completely underneath it and has lifted the ball high, really high over the top of the bar.
Wasn't even close. Good ball played, Anderson, good ball played in. Good header back across. He's got to score. That's an awful effort.
Forest have switched Elanga to the left and brought Hudson-Odoi over to the right for this second half.
That wasn't even close. Good clearance.
Fabian Schär away up to Isak. Couldn't get the first touch that he wanted. It's won back in midfield by Dominguez. Wood tackled by Schär. Now Murphy trying to help it inside to Isak. Intercepted. And Gibbs-White on the goal line, wide of the penalty area, brought it down well, but Newcastle have won it back. Livramento's clearance is blocked. Miley has it, looks for some space. Miley, good turn under pressure from Elanga in his own box. Murphy to Livramento, and a challenge between Livramento and Gibbs-White, and a yellow card for Livramento from Jared Gillett, who saw that one Nottingham Forest's way.
I just think that's a 50-50. I'd like to see it again. I thought it was just two committed players going for the ball. It was Dominguez.
It was Dominguez, sorry, yeah. You're right. What's Livramento done wrong there?
Don't know.
Worthy of a yellow card?
Don't know. I mean, his studs weren't raised.
Jared Gillett, the referee. Second appearance at St James's this season after the draw with Manchester City in September. Tends to get a lot of VAR work. And there was a VAR check almost 3 minutes in length before Newcastle got their penalty, which made it 3-1. Now it's 4-1. Forest with a cross, and Lewis Hall turns it clear out on the near side. Dangerous delivery. And the throw taken by Hudson-Odoi to Aina, who gives it back to Aina. Anderson to Murillo. Drives it through the centre. Behind for a goal kick.
Whoa. He's done that a few times. He's just come on to it, and he's just played aimless balls.
Nottingham Forest were fourth bottom last season. They were 6 points clear of the relegation zone. Should have been 10, but 4 points were deducted after they breached the Premier League's profit and sustainability rules, PSR. Third in the table as it stands, looking to get into Europe for the first time since 95-96. Newcastle with a throw taken by Hall to Gordon. They've hit the post in the second half. Fabian Schär looping header from a corner from the far right-hand side. Not many other chances to speak of. Forest through. Williams with a cross. Newcastle through Schär, haven't cleared it. Now another delivery from the Forest left. Schär, that's a better clearance, the header. And Murphy puts it out of play, smacks it against the advertising board. Seeing a little bit more from Nuno's team in an attempt to get back into it. Gibbs-White, edge of the area. Willock threw himself into the challenge, makes the block, ball spins up and is gathered by Nick Pope.
Yeah, just easy for the keeper to come and get. The ball just loops up.
Hall to Gordon and back to Byrne. Lewis Hall has kept his advanced position in the attack, and Gordon gets it on the left behind halfway. Could have threaded it into midfield to Bruno, but felt the gap was too narrow, so it's back with Dan Byrne. Isak's dropped in. Nobody occupying the Forest centre-backs at the moment. Newcastle with Miley behind the centre circle, and Hall back to Byrne in front of the D. Now Pope. They lead by 4 goals to 1 here on BBC Radio Newcastle and BBC Sounds. Schär up the line. Livramento on the chase, but Murillo is favourite and gets there. And the forward ball headed on by Forest, and Schär. Long pass back to Pope. Edge of the Newcastle penalty area. Callum Wilson and Harvey Barnes, 2 Newcastle boys warming up at the minute. Byrne looking for Gordon, intercepted by Aina. He was alert. Didn't have the best first half. The Nigerian international fullback. Sharp there. Forest on the left-hand side again. Elanga trying to get around. Livramento slides in to stick it out of play. It'll be a throw. Williams takes it back to Gibbs-White. scored 5 goals this season, Gibbs White. He's set up 5 for his teammates in the Premier League. No, he's a player you like.
Yeah, I thought he was quiet first half.
Here he is in the box, trying to lift it forwards.
Saying that, of course, of the commentator, isn't it?
And didn't connect with the ball properly. Newcastle clear. Isak challenging with Murillo. Dominguez was there as well. Forest just outnumbered. Isak is now on 21 goals this season. Through ball from Dominguez, goal kick.
Oh.
I spoke to our colleagues from Radio Nottingham at half-time, and they said Forest have gone away from home. Their away record, and they've had 7 away wins built on clean sheets. Well, they conceded 4 in 11 minutes in the first half. And there's just something not right about them.
They were all over the place. I mean, the equaliser went in, and then they just fell apart.
Hudson-Odoi flicks it forwards. It hit Hall and rebounded nicely for Callum Hudson-Odoi. Making progress up the right wing. Back to Elliot Anderson. Newcastle 4-1 in front. And we've played exactly an hour. Dominguez to Elanga. A lot of possession for the away side in the second half. Nico Williams, good cross, but Pope catches in front of Anderson.
Easy, comfortable take.
And an underarm roll out to Joe Willock, but Newcastle lost the momentum from that move. Gordon made a forward run, but then ran offside. Burn to Bruno, onto Miley. Now they can get away potentially a second time. Miley through the middle. And he just ran into traffic. Slides in. Looked like he got the ball. Jared Gillett says not. Anderson.
I thought he got the ball as well. He did get the ball.
Yeah, caught a bit of Anderson. 2. Makes some strange decisions, this referee.
They all do.
Nottingham Forest free.
You can't win the ball and not follow through. It's an impossibility.
Lewis Hall gets up. His header's gone backwards, but he's recovered well. He's found Burn. Gordon back to Burn. Out to Hall in the corner. How do they get out of this? With a goal kick. Hall playing it against Hudson-Odoi. Kraft warming up now. Longstaff out there. Eddie Howe with Jason.
I think it's
Tingle
time to take 1 or 2 off and save
area.
them for Wednesday night.
Liverpool away on Wednesday, 8:15, live on BBC Radio Newcastle. As usual, 2.5 weeks before Wembley. Burn. His forward ball blocked by Anderson. Chris Wood, a rare touch for him this afternoon. Here's Anderson with a shot blocked by Willock, edge of the area. Forest still have it in the Newcastle half. It's with Gibbs White, central position, 30 yards out. Hudson-Odoi has helped it on to Aina, and Hall's put it behind.
Why do we keep making our own problems, causing our own problems? Just knock it long, knock it in the corners. You've got pace in wide areas. Why make it more difficult for yourself?
You want to get Gordon up against Aina again, and Willock if you can. Brought them a lot of success in the first half. Warm applause for Elliot Anderson from Newcastle fans as he prepares to take the corner. Outswinger, flicked across the box. Wood back into the middle. Stabbed in. And they get one back. Nottingham Forest. And it looks like it's big centre-half. Nikola Milenkovic, Chris Wood helped it back over from Anderson's corner, and Milenkovic in the middle of the penalty area has diverted it beyond Nick Pope, and Newcastle still in a comfortable position.
It's onside.
He was all alone, Milenkovic. I mean, you can't miss him, he's 6'5", but he had space in the 6-yard box, just a flick into the corner. Newcastle United 4, Nottingham Forest 2.
Looking at offside, but he's onside.
And that came about after they took a chance, did something silly. They look to re-establish their 3-goal lead. Miley from halfway, all the way back to Pope. Now Byrne under pressure. Oh, Byrne! It's caught under his feet. Wood to Hudson-Odoi in the area. Byrne, great challenge. It's a corner.
But it's ridiculous. Why are they taking chances? You're cruising in the game. Why give them any snippet at all? Just put your foot through it. There's no harm in going long.
Eddie Howe and Jason Tindall continue their analysis of that. Howe turns to the bench and has called someone towards him. It's a member of the coaching staff. Here's the corner. Dan Byrne got it across to the far side of the box to head it away and out for a throw. No, it's kept in by Williams. Good 40 yards out. And he sends it back over from left to right. Anderson wants a free kick outside the box, nothing given. Murillo, nice control. Anderson back up quickly. Newcastle have left Isak up high. Hudson-Odoi cuts in field. Newcastle win it. Then Forrest do Milenkovic get it back. Then Murphy away. Bruno looking for Willock. That's handball by Willock, but not seen. Now the referee has seen it.
No, he hasn't. Oh, he has. Well, somebody must have told him because he didn't see it.
Yeah, it is. Well, it is handball, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Referee probably couldn't see that because he was behind.
It wasn't from there either. It was further on.
The position or the angle that Willock had meant that the ball was out of the referee's view. Well, it's 4-2 now. 65 minutes. Free kick with 35 yards from the goal, right of centre. Elanga curls it in. Miley header away. 2 Forest players go for the ball. Murillo finds Williams. And Gibbs-White's cross is blocked by Bruno. Just having to dig in, Newcastle. And see out. Tricky spell of Forest pressure. Here's Murillo's ball in. Milenkovic making a nuisance of himself again with his height. Dominguez back out to the near side to Hudson-Odoi. Hall with him. Willock doubling up. Aina makes a run in field. They didn't spot him. He's gone down under a challenge and the referee says no foul. Hall now to Willock, away from a sliding Dominguez and still going Joe Willock. Anderson trying to bring him down. Still Willock. Anderson's done well and wins a free kick.
That's well played. Yeah, he went shoulder to shoulder with him. Good foot race, wasn't it?
Forrest play it on quickly. Willock out of position, limping slightly. Isak having to drop in. This is Elanga in a central position, fouled by Bruno. Newcastle think that's soft.
It is soft.
They lead 4-2 here on BBC Radio Newcastle. Jason Tindall is calling one of the substitutes. I think it's Harvey Barnes. Tonali
It'd be Joe Willock
as well is coming back to the bench. Longstaff and Kraft have been warming up too. So the free kick left of centre. Again, about 35 yards out. I think Tonali's coming on additionally.
Thought he wasn't fit.
Murillo clips it into the box left-footed. Byrne gets up. Anderson chest edge of the area. Deflected shot caught by Pope. Forest players say it was handball. Referee says no. And Newcastle with Nick Pope, ball in his hands. Getting the match restarted. Nothing given the way of the visitors. Miley. Oh, that's straight to Dominguez. Cheaply given away. Forrest with Elanga into the penalty area. He's forced wide of goal. Back to Dominguez. Anderson with a shot. The near side that's gone wide. They've fallen apart here, Newcastle defensively. They do still have a lead by 2 goals. But the last 5 or 10 minutes have been alarming.
They're all over the place. It's because they're taking chances. Why take chances? You're 4-1 up. Just keep sticking it in behind them.
Double change. Barnes and Tonali coming on. Willock, who's played well, especially in the first half, is the first player to go off. Substitutions being made in the 69th minute. Tonali told by the fourth official to get back off the pitch because Willock hasn't left the field. And Barnes comes on for Murphy, scorer of Newcastle's second goal that put them in front for the first time this afternoon. Newcastle 4, Nottingham Forest 2 on BBC Radio Newcastle. Like-for-like changes. Obviously Tonali plays differently to Willock, but midfielder for midfielder, wide player for wide player.
Yeah, he put Tonali on to try and get a bit more control in midfield, get a grip of it. But it's from a defensive point of view. Everybody wants to play, little tippy-tappy. Just get your boot behind it, you're 4-1 up. Well, 4-2 up now.
Yeah. Harvey Barnes' first appearance since the injury against Bromley on the 12th of January. He was on the bench last weekend but wasn't going to be used. He scored at Forest, the third Newcastle goal in November. Gordon onto Isak, and Gordon fouled. So they have a free kick in the attacking half of the pitch where they've rarely been in the second half.
You know what makes it look an awful lot worse as well? When players go down theatrically and start rolling around. There's not a great deal of contact there. He jumps out of the way of it, lands on his back and rolls around.
Gordon's back up, Hall's going to take the free kick. Forest about 5 yards up from the penalty area, 71st minute. Hall to Tonali, first touch is coming on, trying to drop it in for Livramento, but needs to find his range. Tonali overhit. Sells, nothing to do in the second half. Fabian Schär with a header off the post from a corner. That was at 4-1, now it's 4-2. Hall, good header to win it from Wood, and then Tonali out on the near side. That's really measured play from Tonali, keeping it in, finding Hall. Another header, a couple of headers won by Lewis Hall. Tonali here wins a throw off Dominguez. Looks all right for someone who hasn't trained all week.
Yeah. Looks all right for somebody who's not fit.
Hall bang on halfway, this near left-hand side. Newcastle shooting towards the Leazer's end. Isak makes a run in towards the ball. So too does Bruno. Tonali makes a diagonal run in midfield. Then Isak comes short to get it. Hall gets a return pass. It's up the line. Then Forest head away. Bruno can't control it in midfield. Murillo to Anderson and Milenkovic. Been a big player for Forest this season. Missed just one game in the Premier League, Nikola Milenkovic. He scored the goal to bring it back to 4-2. 73rd minute, Elliot Anderson, right of centre. Laid off to Milenkovic. The ball caught under his studs, then he's given it away with a forward pass. Hall heads it on, now Gordon lets it run. Inside for Bruno, Isak wants it threaded through. Isak can't get after that, it was too close to Murillo. It went away from him. I think he'd held his run, but it wasn't quite the ball that he needed. And the visitors have got it again. Looking for the edge of the area, Hudson-Odoi, Newcastle header, but it's come to Wood, who lays it off. Aina, curling cross.
It's awful.
Goal kick. Wood went for it with Pope, but I think it had beaten them both anyway. We've barely seen Wood in the game. I know he helped the ball back over for Milenkovic's goal, but he's not had a chance yet.
No.
And they haven't really used him in any link-up play.
It's a poor ball by Aina. You drag Schär out here. Surely with the pace Aina's got, you have a go at him. You just knock it by him and run him. Takes the easy option, cuts inside.
Big Pope, long goal kick. It's come out to the near side of the pitch. Aina's header on by Hudson-Odoi. Dan Burn across and played against Aina. who's then kept it in. Byrne scoops it away with a sliding challenge. Lewis Hall onto the ball. Very well played by Lewis Hall. Gets it back from Bruno. And then Hall away from a couple of challenges. Brought down by Dominguez, who will receive a yellow card. Great work from Hall.
Aina just gets outnumbered. Gets no support around him at all. Then Hall picks it up, does great skips inside. Draws the foul from Fernandez.
Some activity on the visitors' bench.
Dominguez, that's it. Fernandez, Dominguez.
We're going to be making a change shortly. 4-2 to Newcastle. Bruno slips in midfield. Dominguez at his back. Forest win it back through Milenkovic. Anderson in front of the halfway line. Try to get it through the middle. Cher stretching. Tonali was alive to it, thankfully. Up to Gordon. Heavy first touch. And then Anderson, strong challenge. Played with typically full force and commitment, Elliot Anderson. Trying to drive a Nottingham Forest comeback. The only time Newcastle have lost to Forest in the Premier League was the home fixture last season when Chris Wood scored a hat-trick. They have a good record against them, and they've come from a goal down today to lead 4-2. It was 4-1 at half-time. Miley, Murphy and Isak with 2, including a penalty. Newcastle scorers.
Ryan Yates coming on for Forest.
He fouled his way through the Premier League match in November.
He's there, Joe Linton.
He lacks a bit of Joe Linton's finesse, you might say.
Really?
Well, on the evidence of that game,
I would never say Joe Linton's got finesse, Ray.
That's what I mean. So he comes on for Nicholas Dominguez, Ryan Yates, and Elliot Anderson is coming off as well. 76 minutes. And appreciation of Elliot Anderson from Newcastle fans. Ibrahim Sangare. He was one of the Forest players that was unsuccessful from the penalty spot in the League Cup when Newcastle went through in August.
Yeah, it was an awful penalty.
He hit the bar.
Yeah.
Hall with a throw up the line. Tonali with a header out of play. And Nottingham Forest with the ball in their own half. Long it goes from Aina. On by Yates. Tonali is there. Hall to Cher, takes a touch. I think Barnes has touched it since coming on. Might get involved now. Isak takes it down, looks for Tonali. Gibbs-White back to Aina. Barnes playing on the right. Gordon stayed on this near left-hand side. Given away by Aina to Bruno. It's gone out off Bruno, onto Yates, then off Bruno.
I don't know why you're complaining. It came off you last.
Bruno
just play it simple.
Appealing against the decision. She's gone Forest's way. Gordon full of energy, chasing the ball back to Milenkovic. Decides not to press the goalkeeper. Sells, drops it long. Byrne wins the header. Miley after that gets there before Sangare. Now Livramento holds off Elanga. Needs some help. Forest have won it back. Hudson-Odoi. Gordon and Hall make challenges. Lewis Hall concedes a corner.
Yeah.
After Gordon put Elanga
again
just off balance.
But again, you're putting the ball at risk, trying to run it out. Just knock it.
It's, 78 minutes have been played. Newcastle lead 4-2. But they've not really threatened to extend the lead in the second half. Here's the corner. Oh, and a header wide by the visitors from the centre of the penalty box.
What a chance that is.
Murillo might have been the man who connected with the corner kick.
Oh, he's got to score. He has to score, surely. He sees it all the way as well, right onto his head. Look. What a chance that is.
It's just flashed past post, left-hand post, mid-height from about 7 yards out. Callum Wilson coming back to the bench. I wonder whether we'll see him for the final part of this game. Still wearing a luminous yellow bib. But it hasn't been a great second half, as good as a comeback as it was in the first half. To see a bit more from Newcastle in this final period. Barnes linking up well with Isak. Barnes edge of the area. His first involvement in any play since coming on. Bruno then into a challenge at the edge of the box. Doesn't get the free kick he wants. Tonali mops up and does superbly well. Then Cher loses out, then makes a block. Newcastle want another decision they don't get. Aina forwards on the diagonal. Livramento nods it back to Pope.
Been poor second half. Decision making's been really poor, especially from trying to play from the back. You just play the percentages when you're 4-1 up.
Pope kicks it high over halfway. Milenkovic, no challenge on the header. Then Byrne forwards. Gordon tries to knock it down for Tonali, does. Back up to Gordon, then Bruno. That's a foul by Sangare. They get that decision. You listen to BBC Radio Newcastle. We're also on the BBC Sounds app. 4-2 the score. And forwards go. Cher. Burns already up there. Bruno with the free kick inside the centre circle. Byrne having his shirt pulled off his back. Nothing given. Tonali header. Miley competes for a couple of headers. Murillo away. Livramento first to that before Elanga, who's taken him out. And the whistle's gone. Nine minutes remaining. I know you said, John Anderson, the decision making's been poor in the second half and they've made mistakes, but you're still comfortable at 4-2?
Yeah, still comfortable at 4-2, but
beautiful touch from Isak from Bruno's
offside.
Diagonal free kick, but the flag is up.
But
against Isak.
It's a game management. Second half's been really poor.
Milenkovic goes long and high, and Byrne could just let that go.
Oh.
And he just let it go.
He didn't have a clue, did he?
Pope must have given him a shout eventually. He was trying to bring it down with his left foot. Cher, now they've switched it. Isak just help it on to Gordon on halfway, then carries on his run. And Isak on the chase here. Gordon's ball bending into the corner. Alexander Isak gets there. Still got time to get the hat-trick. Back to Bruno. Square to Miley. It's played in. Barnes in the penalty area. Is there a comeback goal for Barnes? Shot is blocked. Forest clear. Cher, nice flick through his legs back to Byrne, and then receives it again from Byrne. Now it's Livramento forced away back to halfway by Sangare. And Byrne gets it from Cher, and now Gordon back to Livramento. Header on to Miley. Back to Cher. Well, that's a bit better. Isak looking a bit tired, down on his haunches on the left wing. Newcastle have it on the right-hand side. Miley skips away, escapes a few challenges. Cher back heels it to him. Now Gordon, Isak wide. Gordon having to hold off Hudson-Odoi. Forest want a free kick.
Dear, oh dear.
Gordon caught him, it was accidental.
Yeah, it's never a free kick.
Playing on, here's Bruno, no foul. He's managed to help it on towards Isak, but Aina is there. And then Isak robs Aina of possession in the corner, into the box. Isak, good recovery from Ola Aina. And then he's won a free kick. Isak, not happy about the decision. But that's a little bit better from Newcastle in terms of playing the game in the Forest half of the pitch. Not sure where they've taken the free kick from, and that's why the crowd are getting agitated. Gibbs White here, just gets away from Tonali. helped on to Yates. Hudson-Odoi flicks it forwards to Ryan Yates. Tonali with him. And Yates has won a throw next to the corner flag. Newcastle 4-2 up, 6 minutes of normal time to play. Coming up on BBC Radio Newcastle, Simon Logan with his 80s versus 90s show. And the full 4 hours of Simon's programme will be on the BBC Sounds app later tonight. Aina with the throw, might be a long throw. Milenkovic is in there. Yates is tall, he's front post. Wood a target as well. Pope comes and punches. And Murillo and his teammate Hudson-Odoi getting each other's way, but Murillo comes away with the ball. They got lucky there. Aina drops his shoulder, doesn't deliver, now sends in the cross. Good header.
Oh, I tell you what, they've had chance the second half, Forrest.
Good chance for a header. Milenkovic just peeled off, strained his neck muscles, but couldn't get the direction that he needed on the attempt, and it's gone wide from the back of the box.
Yeah, they've had chances.
Newcastle have never lost 3 Premier League home matches in a row under Eddie Howe. The previous 2, Bournemouth and Fulham, ended in defeat. Here they've come from 1-0 down early on to lead 4-1 at half-time. Forrest have pulled one back. Callum Wilson's going to be introduced shortly. Nick Pope long with the goal kick. Yates with the header. Then Miley for Newcastle. Bruno onto Isak. Won by the Forest defence. Aina's got it, drops his shoulder, comes out wide. Hudson-Odoi ahead of him, slips, then gets back up, receives the ball and gets away from a couple of challenges. Bruno made the last one and fouled him, and Alexander Isak is coming off. There'll be no hat-trick, but 2 first-half goals to turn what was a 2-1 lead into a 4-1 lead, and he now has 21 this season.
Just a special player. This little flick for the second goal was brilliant.
Wilson, who came on in the 73rd minute last weekend, comes on in the 87th today. 6th Premier League substitute appearance of the season. Chris Wood is a good few yards offside as Murillo tries to drive the free kick up the line and finds Hudson-Odoi, whips over the cross. Pope at full stretch. Did he get a hand? No, didn't touch it. It's a fantastic delivery from the near side from Hudson-Odoi. Disguise on the pass from Murillo. Jared Gillett telling Newcastle to hurry up, and some supporters frustrated. From the first moments of the match they were complaining about Forest taking too long. Livramento with a throw in the right back position. 4-2 the score. Wilson battling with the centre back. Milenkovic the other. Forwards. Cher lifts it away. Barnes header on. Murillo's missed it. Wilson beaten to the ball by Milenkovic. Yates, that's handball. Fair few Forest followers have decided that's enough. They've got Arsenal next, before Ipswich in the FA Cup, then Manchester City. They're all at home. So with Newcastle as well, this is a real test of their European credentials. Do you think they can do it?
No.
Maybe not Champions League, but...
Well, you look at the Premier League table and you see that they're third in the table. And after watching them first half, you wonder how they're third in the table.
Good header on by Miley, but Milenkovic gets it clear before Wilson can get in behind. On it there by Livramento. Barnes with a header. Volley forwards by Murillo. Livramento dealing with a bouncing ball. The header's gone back to Wood, who lays it off to the far side. Fabian Cher slides in and then sends it up the pitch towards Wilson. Murillo's got the touch. Wilson gets between the defender and the ball. Murillo then wins it a second time. Forward pass, Burner cross, heads it into the stand. Williams to Anthony Elanga. His cross headed away by Bruno and then volleyed out by Livramento. In the final minute of the 90, still Forest push for one more back.
Been poor second half, Razor. Really poor.
Gibbs-White's delivery. Pope at full stretch has to tip it over. Backpedaling, two hands on the ball to knock it over the top of the crossbar.
Forest have had so much more about them compared to what they were like first half. Please, they played the way they did first half. If they'd have played like this all game, it would have been really interesting.
Here's the corner on the near side. Elanga, out swinger. Barnes flicks it away, and Gibbs-White blocked in front of goal. They've got another one. Yates has come on and scored, and Nottingham Forest have got it back to 4-3 incredibly. And Newcastle, a second half that's been a real struggle. Once again, it's a corner kick that caused the problems. They couldn't get it clear, and Nottingham Forest in the final minute of the 90 have got it back to within one. Newcastle United 4, Nottingham Forest 3. Appears to be a VAR check, but if the goal stands, it's 4-3.
I mean, it's the least they deserve. They've been by so much the better side second half. We've been sloppy. We thought we had the game won. We've been so lethargic in what we've done. I said beforehand that we've got to play at it in intensity. That hasn't been there second half.
The goal stands, by the way. The referee was just telling Forest to wait before they kicked off. Newcastle have restarted the match, and there are a minimum of 3 additional minutes. Thank goodness it's not the 7 that they added to the first half. Tonali up to Wilson, good take on his chest, then a turn. Sangare wins the ball back from Wilson though. In the Forest half, we're into the second of the 3 minutes. Williams. Oh, they've got a runner here and a chance to cross, which they do. Yates with the header. Goal kick. Some really ambitious appeals for something. Newcastle have a player down. Forest boys run to the referee. I'm not sure why. Gordon is down. Cramp. Referee pointed for goal kick. Yellow card shown to someone for Forest. Might be Yates. He's talking himself into a booking. Gibbs-White with the cross. Yates with the header. (4-3). Well, 4-1 at half-time, just as well they got the extra goals. We're into the final minute of the 3, but Jared Gillett might play on because there's been a lengthy stoppage there. Gordon's back up. It's important to win today, but it might have been more comfortable than this. Here's Wilson on his chest, but away by Milenkovic. Cher and Wood, good battle. Cher wins it, then on by Tonali, and now Wilson a chance to run. Callum Wilson only Murillo to beat into the area, but the defender makes a last-ditch challenge on Wilson, who tried to cut back across him and move inside. Now a clearance from Forest. Newcastle let it run, and it's a throw. There are 10 seconds of the 3 minutes to play. Newcastle 4, Nottingham Forest 3. Jared Gillett says get on with the game to Lewis Hall. He's waving his teammates up the pitch, as is Jason Tindall. Hall looking for Wilson. Header from Milenkovic. Elanga with a header on. Wood wins one in the air. Elanga nods it forwards. Livramento clears. We're now into a 4th minute of additional time. And the crowd know that, and Jason Tindall goes to the 4th official to ask why the whistle hasn't been blown. Forest through Murillo, running into trouble in the middle of midfield. Bruno putting pressure on. Aina's ball forwards. Here's a cross from the left from Forest. Milenkovic's header, Tonali away. And Aina wins the challenge, volleys it forwards. Block from Livramento, Miley with a tackle. Newcastle need to get it clear, they can't get the ball. It's really scrappy. Livramento clears, and Wilson's onside. And Wilson's just got to run. Murillo comes out to him. Callum Wilson, Gordon is square. Wilson took the shot on and it's blocked. Could have squared it for Gordon, but in the end it doesn't matter. The final whistle has been blown and they have limped over the line, Newcastle United.